Oceans, the largest water bodies found on the planet, covering up to 71% of the Earth's surface. They provide us with food, transportation, and the ability to survive on the Earth. But can they give us electricity? First of all, how do the tides work?
Well, tides are caused by the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun. When the moon and sun align with the Earth, the tides are strongest, but when they form a right angle with each other, they partially cancel each other out, so the tides are weaker.
Now, there are many designs that can turn tidal motion into usable energy.
So many designs. Many of them work, of course, but the question today is, what's the best way to get renewable energy from the tides? Well, there are two main examples that we still use today: tidal barrages and underwater turbines.
Tidal barrages are one of the oldest methods of tidal power generation, first seen in the 1960s. They are used around the world in France, Russia, China, and Canada. Dams across a bay or river mouth are opened as the tide comes in, allowing the bay to fill with water. At high tide, the barrages are then closed, and later the water empties out through hydroelectric turbines generating electricity. Tidal barrages need a significant difference in the relative heights of the tides. The sea level at the Bay of Fundy on the east coast of Canada rises by an average of 11 meters, reaching a maximum of 17. There, built in 1984, the Annapolis Royal Tidal Turbine in Nova Scotia's Bay of Fundy produces 20 megawatts. It is the third largest tidal power plant in the world. It has a daily output of 80 to 100 megawatt hours, depending on the tides. This is an example of a barrage system. Tidal barrage power schemes have a very low running cost, but a very high capital cost. As a result, facilities may not produce returns for many years, and investors and politicians may be reluctant to participate in such projects. The Rance plant in Brittany, France, has been running since 1966. It has cost €675 million, or $1 billion Canadian dollars, to construct, and produces on average 540 million kilowatts a year. Man, that was a lot of big words. Here's a clip of a hamster eating a tiny burrito.
I feel better now. Anyway, underwater turbines work the same way as wind-powered turbines, except guess what? They're underwater. These underwater wind farms use tidal currents to spin and generate electricity. This system takes advantage of fast-moving tidal streams. Hold on, Taryn, I hear you yelling at your screens. But does this mean that tidal energy can be converted anywhere around the world where there is water? Well, no. Tidal turbines need tidal currents going at roughly 4 knots to operate efficiently, meaning that can be used in rivers and open oceans as well as coastal regions that meet this requirement. In BC, we have an abundance of islands and narrow passages that concentrate tidal flow, like the Dodd Narrows that runs at 9 knots, and the Rapids that run at 14.2 knots, making ideal places to generate tidal power. However, most tidal generators here are experimental. For example, the 2016 Race Rocks facility off the coast of Victoria uses underwater turbines and produces only 65 kilowatts. That could power 10 homes. Yeah, not a lot. But it is said to have great potential. There is said to be an estimated 4 billion watts of untapped power along the BC coasts.
Underwater turbines, on the other hand, are relatively cheaper and quicker to install. In 2008, the UK company Lunar Energy signed a £500 million, that's $900 million Canadian, deal to build a 3,000 turbine farm off the South Korean coast. This is the biggest proposal slated to be completed in 2019. However, their flashy yearly outputs come with a cost. Barrages have a larger impact on marine ecosystems by blocking fish migration, such as those of salmon and sturgeon, and it also disrupts the surrounding ecosystems during operation. They also reduce tidal ranges and intertidal zones by half, increase erosion, and can affect tides in places up to 500 kilometers away. The turbine Annapolis location proved fish mortality to be 60% if caught in dangerous slipstreams. Whales are also in danger. If able to get through the sluice gates, the whales are then trapped inside the bay until they are able to get back through at low tide. The Annapolis location has documented 2 such humpback whales becoming trapped within the bay, and one eventually escaping and the other being found dead. Chains or farms of underwater turbines could also displace certain species of water birds and affect the seabed ecosystem if attached. Also, the EMF, also known as the electromagnetic field produced by these turbines, contain an acoustic output that may affect marine wildlife, especially those who use echolocation to communicate.
And right about now, you're probably saying, well, if tidal barrages are so evil, why do we even consider them? To which I say, this is a video. I can't hear you. It's not like I don't talk to you and you talk back and it's a whole, conversation thing. It's just like it's a video. I can't hear you. Anyway, current tidal turbines are designed to be slower moving and are actually less likely to harm animals. And when they are fixed with screens, the risk is reduced even more. Also, if you think about it, fossil fuels will destroy the entire planet, so technically they have a 100% mortality rate. Just saying. The Norwegian town of Hammerfest is currently powered by an underwater turbine farm. This power plant powers around 30 homes.
The benefits of using tidal energy. It's reliable and consistent, pollution-free, renewable, efficient, and has low operating costs. The problems. High maintenance. The ocean is a very destructive force, so equipment would have to be very durable and require constant repairs. Marine life. When marine organisms and ecosystems are impacted, this affects diversity and the local economy.
The efficiency of harnessing tidal energy today is very high compared to fossil fuels. Roughly 80% of the kinetic energy is captured from tides. 20% is lost to friction and other factors. However, the cost of power generation of tidal currents is roughly 4 times as expensive as wind energy, mainly because there is newer technology and fewer turbines in place. Overall, we think that tidal barrages are the most effective way to get energy from the tides. They are able to harness the large amounts of energy from the tides, despite their environmental impact, and their initial costs remain even more widespread. However, we also believe the future of tidal power is not yet to come, and the next generation of tidal generators will be more environmentally friendly and more cost efficient. Don't give up on it yet.